Hello and welcome back to Roads Yet Traveled. We'll be continuing where we left off, which, if you recall, is after spending basically the whole day with Marrowyn doing exams. Mostly physical exams, but exams nonetheless. And it was during this time um, that he was spending the majority of the time basically stuck inside of Marrowyn's lab that Tucker was sort of realizing that he's basically gone from one cell to another, and that even though this one he actually, there's other stuff. He gets to walk around from the partner's room towards the lab. He's basically still a prisoner in a way. And it's kind of getting to him, like mentally at least. And I suppose Marrowyn is sort of picking up on that. But at the same time it's like, well, what is he going to do? Or is he going to do something? Yeah. But anyways, so yeah, we did get to learn a bit about I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing this wrong, Arlarain system, the planets that it has, and the fact that Marrowyn was very, uh, like, he didn't really want to go into specifics about Io, the main planet where the Karain are from, which struck Tucker as a bit weird too. Like, sure, this guy's very friendly, he's very accommodating, but he also is keeping certain things from Tucker, and he's not being very subtle about it, because it's very obvious. So yeah. Well, anyways, let's continue on to day 8 to see what happens. Awake. Eyes open, blood flowing. Then and only then does consciousness come back. Fuck, I was out like a light. I guess sometimes your body does work the way you want it to. As more and more senses come back to me, I falter, if just a bit. I still feel it. That dreaded presence. How? Why? Ugh. Well, I'll try not to let it get to me. It won't get to me. Ugh. And a dry mouth. Getting ready for the day happens in a haze, leaving the room a blur, and walking to Marrowyn's lab might as well have never happened. And yet, we still arrived. Ready for a new day of... Well, fun isn't the right word. But I can only hope that it will be more interesting than staring at a wall all day. I reclaim my throne atop my stool and simply wait. It does not take long for him to set things up today. He bounces from machine to machine, checking every readout, informing the room as to what occurred last night, as if the room could understand, and pulling out a few tools for the day. Hopefully some of it rubs off onto me. Usually his cheery presence does help a modicum. Ah, are you finally with us? Good morning, Tucker. You were so tired this morning. I was almost worried. Right, tired. That's the easier word to use. Yeah, sorry. Something came over me last night and I slept like a rock. I must have been more exhausted than I had thought. Right. Well, please do let me know if you need anything. Breakfast should be here in a mark or two. But until then, there are a few tests that I'd like to run if that is alright with you. Right. Yeah, sure. Can I maybe get some water? Of course, help yourself. Help myself? Doc, I don't think I can reach the cabinets. Fortunately, it seems he left my cup out from last night, and I can just barely reach the faucet if I try. Returning to Doc, I can already see that he has his favorite tool out. I bet he's gonna say something along the lines of, Tucker, I need more blood. Or, please, Tucker, this is to help all of us. Ugh. He can have it. I'm just being pissy. But why, damn it? Maybe I'll think clearer after breakfast. Tucker? Oh shit, right. Well, let's at least see if I was right. Do you mind if I could try and take another sample of your blood? I think I almost have enough to stop taking it so regularly. But it would help me in my research. I was close. Excuse me? Wait, did I say that out loud? I mean, yeah. Sure thing. I lay out my arm for him as he gives me a confused look before changing his expression to a solemn yet caring smile. He knows I don't particularly like this, and yet I'm still doing it for him. Well, for myself as well, even if I can't understand the benefits of it yet. One paw on the needle, another finds its way to my shoulder. A soft yet massive thumb brushes against my neck, its fur just tickling my still wary skin. My senses suddenly come flooding back as I can feel my face become flush. Did he mean to do that? Looking at him intently now, I can see that he is not even looking at me, but instead looking at my arm and the needle. He must have done that by accident. Yeah, surely. It was nice for a moment, however. But the moment passes. The cold of disinfectant. I look away, a soft squeeze. A sharp pinch. 1, 2, 3. A tap on my shoulder and it's done. Finally, he meets my eyes, and for but a second, his grin is boundless until he focuses on my face. Tucker! What happened? Are you alright? What do you mean? Your face is very red. Ah. No, I'm fine, Marrow. That's, a normal human thing. Yep, right. Just a normal human occurrence. He gently rotates my head left and right, looking at it from different angles. I tried everything in my power not to look him in the eyes. My face is not getting better. I can't tell, but I'd say it's probably getting worse. I had thought that I'd noticed this before, but I was unsure. May I ask what has caused it? You did. You did. No, wait. Why did I say that out loud? Oh my! Is it a pain response of some kind? Is it a reaction to the disinfectant or something else? I swear last time I did this exam you were fine. Your heart rate has spiked as well. Oh, I've definitely made this worse. Can I lie my way out of this? No, I'll just tell him. Alright, I may not have been wholly truthful with you, Marrow. When you were taking my blood, you kind of rubbed my neck and, well, I was a bit embarrassed. That seems like the best way to put it. Although I'm not sure he understands. What was that word before? Neck, Tucker? I'm sorry. It didn't translate. Of course not. That would be too easy and it would save me some embarrassment. Let's try this again. The way you gently touched my neck. It, made me react like that. What are you... Oh. There it is. Yeah. Oh. And now he's blushing too. Great job, Tucker. Doc timidly tries to look away while collecting himself, as if trying to calm down or find the right thing to say. His eyes are darting back and forth behind his half-glasses. Both paws land on his desk as he turns away, breathing just a bit too loud and a bit too heavy to be fine. But just as quickly as he lost his composure, he regains it. Tucker, I am dreadfully sorry that I have overstepped my bounds. As your doctor, I take full responsibility and would like to formally apologize. Apologize? Oh man, did he think I was upset? What? Doc, I'm not upset. You don't have to apologize. Why do you think that? It was highly inappropriate, if it was done by accident, that I interacted with you in that way. You are my patient and should be treated with respect, That is why. Well, I appreciate that, but I don't really want that. What do you mean? I don't want to just be a patient. I don't want to just be an alien. I just want to be here. Does that make sense? I am a bit confused. I just want to be treated normally. I know that's hard right now, but you don't have to get all worried about touching me. You can touch me. It's fine. Let me rephrase that. I just want to be here. I know none of this is normal. I mean, I am a fucking alien to you, but that's just how it is. And yeah, that's weird, but nothing can be done about that. Do you think that you could see me less as a patient and more as a crewmate? His head falls to one side as he tries to understand what I am saying. The words leave my mouth and I assume his neuro can't keep up. It's no easy request either. I believe I understand you. And if I understand you correctly, then let me apologize for something else. Tucker, I am sorry if I have been treating you as something more than you are. I did not have the intent of setting you on a tower. Does he mean putting me on a pedestal? But I understand that I might have. And worse yet, I have done it without realizing it. How callous of me to ask you to be yourself and yet treat you as something you aren't. Tucker, I am sorry. How would you... Can I... He takes off his glasses and rubs his head with a massive paw, carefully placing them back when he is done. He doesn't know what to say. It was a small slight, something I only really caught by accident. And yet, to him, it was a world. Is that all? Is that all you would want? It is a start. To just be me. Of course, Tucker. I wouldn't ask anything else. After a few awkward minutes, that stretch on like marks, an assistant brings us some breakfast. That's right, I hadn't even had breakfast yet. I'm disappointed to see nothing new, but it's not even been a day since I last asked. I didn't expect to see more. Doc doesn't so much as eat as he does just sit on the other side of the desk and watch me. Not staring, but just intently checking in on me as he writes notes and reads some new information as it comes in. He tells me it's all good so far. Whatever good means. Breakfast continues in a silent waltz, as Doc bounces from terminal to terminal setting up future tests and taking notes. It's fine, as I can zone it all out, but it does feel... similar. I don't feel here per se. I'm just as well in another room I cannot leave doing things that I don't understand with people who barely understand me. It's just... Tucker, are you ready? I jump up, startled. Turning in the direction of the voice, I see Doc, who is standing by a particularly large machine in one of the corners. I amble over as he just smiles. Ready? Oh, did I not? I'm sorry, I can explain it again. Shit, I must have been way more zoned out than I thought. Yeah, please do, Doc. Of course. This is... well, it has a long, complicated name, but I won't bore you with that. Essentially, it will just scan you and give us a good look at what's going on inside of you. Do you know what X-rays are? Again, with the talking down to me. I know I should expect some of it, but it still does suck. I've explained to him that my species has been to space, right? Yeah, I know what X-rays are, Doc. Oh, good! I didn't want to have to try to explain that. Well, yes, this machine will scan you for that, along with some other things. Although it may take a while if that's alright. Perhaps we could do some scans over different sessions? Here, let me... No, it's fine. Easier to just get them done, yeah? Right. Very well. If you don't mind stepping in. Oh, if you could disrobe again, that would be appreciated? Right. Of course. After stripping down to my boxers again, I step into the machine and lay down. I think this is basically just an MRI machine. Or at least close to one. Although I am a bit worried about being bombarded with X-rays when another species has no idea what human radiation tolerance is. It'll be fine. Doc steps away before the machine closes. I can't even sit up anymore if I wanted to. He comes back around and I can barely see him crouched next to where my head is. Are you okay, Tucker? Do you think that you can lay still for me while we take some scans? I put it on the lowest setting just to be safe. I think I'll be fine, Doc. But, how long do you think this will take? It may take up to a mark, I'm sorry to say. I can stay with you for most of it though, if you would like. That is pretty long. As I readjust myself to try and get more comfortable, but there's not a lot of wiggle room. If you don't mind, Doc. Of course. As he gets up, I hear the machine start to whirl and of course, feel nothing. I didn't expect to, but still. Doc leans back down. I can only see him out of the corner of my eye. He doesn't look nervous, just... sad. He's done so much for me. I'd be happier if he didn't worry so much about me. Out of everyone here, he deserves to be happy that I'm out of my cell. I can't find a way to vocalize it though, as the whirl of the machine drowns out all my thoughts. We sit in relative calm, which only breaks when Doc gets up to check on something. He gives a few non-committal grunts before coming back to rest beside me. It's cold, but not lonely. I nervously try to check in on him every few minutes, craning my head uncomfortably back, yet trying to keep my movements to a minimum. It doesn't work all too well. He tries to spark up a conversation or two, but for some reason I find myself unable to respond. I don't think he takes offense. But what happened? I'm just... not feeling well, I guess. Maybe tomorrow I'll... No, I promised. I have to tell him. Although maybe I'll wait when I can actually face him. The whirling continues and I almost nod off a few times, but after everything is done, I hear a few beeps and an excited Marrow rushes over to the monitor. The machine unlocks and slowly opens. Are you okay, Tucker? Do you need help getting up? He extends a paw that I am quick to take, as my legs have nearly fallen asleep. Sitting on the edge of the machine, my head feels like it's full of static as I try to regain some function of my body. To which he takes note. Are you okay, Tucker? I reach over and use him as a support to get up, propping myself against him. He moves to catch me and once again brushes up against my neck, if just barely. I look up only to be met with a mortified face. Right. Shit. No, it's fine. I'm just tired. Really, here, let me... Gently swatting him away, I stand up on my own and stretch out a bit, letting the blood pump back into my limbs and clearing the fog from my brain. Doc still looks worried and invites me to come sit down as he works on his monitor. Now's the time to ask. But... ask for what? We've talked about how it's hard to ask for more right now. Even if being out of that cell is a blessing, but... no. Maybe I can... The door slides open, causing me to jump as I whip my head to see who it could possibly be. Fortunately, it takes but a moment for my eyes to adjust as Marruk is standing there with a tray of food. Has it been that long already? Guess I was in that machine for longer than I had thought. Doc casually readjusts his outfit and walks over to meet him. You're early. We weren't expecting you for another mark or so. Not happy to see me. And here I thought I was your favorite patient. Ha! No, I hate to say it, but I think you've been replaced. Haha, you're so funny, Seno. Anyways, something's come up, so I can't make it later. So, I decided better now than never. Anyways, I was getting bored on my break. Well, I'm not going to judge Marruk on his work ethic. The idea of him coming to see me earlier than he'd have to is pretty surprising. Maybe he just wanted an excuse to eat lunch early as well. I won't complain though, even if it's the same stuff as always. I need it today. I'm basically falling asleep here. Doc walks over and takes the tray from Marruk, allowing him to saunter around the lab a bit before grabbing a stool and sitting surprisingly close to us. As Doc is checking the food though, he makes a face and pulls out his monitor, the screen struggling to spark to life as he holds it in his massive paws. He squints to see what is written before sighing. Well, it's a good thing that you got here when you did, Marruk. I need to step out for a moment. The professor needs me. I raise an eyebrow, but neither of them notice. Really? I mean... alright, if you say so, Doc. Can I... Marruk, can you stay here with Tucker? What? Yeah, of course. Damn, Doc, my memory ain't that bad. Marrowyn still looks worried, but he sighs and turns to me. I'm sorry about this, Tucker, but the professor is running into some issues and, well... It's fine. I could use a break right now anyways. He wants to say something, but he stops himself, as he realizes he has to go. Right, I'll be back in a mark or two. Stay here. It will be safe. He waves and walks out the automatic door before I can respond, leaving me to just sigh and flop back against his desk. Damn it. I do need a break, but I also really need to talk to Doc about what's going on here, and how I still feel trapped. Maybe I can bring it up later. With how long these days are, I should have plenty of time. It takes me a moment to realize it, but Marruk is staring right at me as I sit and ponder. Our eyes meet and I freeze. He, of course, doesn't say anything, as he just sits and stares, slowly taking another bite without breaking eye contact. Hi, Marruk. Tucker. Thanks for bringing me lunch? Uh-huh. It's like trying to talk to a wall with this guy. I mean, I guess he was actually behind a wall for most of the time we've talked. But still. You on break, yeah? Yup. Busy later? Mm-hmm. This has got to be a joke, right? Is he messing with me? I swear we weren't on such bad terms before that we couldn't hold even the simplest of conversations. It's been, what, a few marks since we last talked? Are you okay, Marruk? Funny thing. I was just about to ask you the same question. What? What's wrong, Tucker? Doc's lab too scary? He's much bigger up close? Too many pointy needles? What are you asking? He takes a moment to look me up and down before making eye contact again. This time, though, a faint silver of blue shoots across his eye. It's not intimidating. It's more like I could see his thoughts forming in real time. A window to his... well, brain. Not so this time. You read like a bad book, Tucker. You're sitting weird. That plucky confidence you had yesterday is fucking gone. And you can barely even face me. Don't make me force it out of you. Shit, am I really that out of it that even he can read me? Wait, but was Doc not able to see that something was wrong? I guess my heart rate hasn't really gone up, but surely he... Tucker! Come on, don't fucking zone out on me again. Right, sorry, I just... No, wait. Damn it, Marruk. I don't know. Things are weird right now. I got out of that damn cell, but I can't force myself to feel better. I know I should, but I don't. I still feel scared and trapped, and... I have to take a moment to calm down. I was rambling and I didn't notice, but my hands were balled and shaking. Marruk doesn't interject this time. In fact, the only reason that I know he's still there is the soft sound of crumbs falling into his lap, which he gently brushes aside. I'm scared, Marruk. I'm outside of that cell and I thought that would be the answer. But you were right. It's not easier. It's not gotten easier at all. The silence persists. A single tear forms in my eye, but I do not let it cascade, wiping it away before more can be called. My breathing, off kilter and jagged, slowly returns to normal as the chill of the lab starts to sink in its way through my skin. It's cold without Doc. All right. I had almost forgotten that I was talking to a Karain as Marruk stands up. He brushes himself off and takes a few steps away. Come on. I raise an eyebrow at him, but he does not elaborate. I get up to follow, but he just looks at me confused. Is this not what he wanted? Tucker, I know you're not a Karain, but I'd still suggest you wear clothes around the station. What is he... Why the... I scramble to the desk and quickly hide behind some drawers as I throw my clothes back on. Have I had them off all morning? No wonder it was so damn cold. I think I hear Marruk snicker a few times, but to be honest, I think those were well-deserved. He picks up the food tray and heads to the door, which opens in his presence. Are you coming or what? We're leaving? Ignoring me, he takes a step out. The automatic door stays open just enough for light to breach the room. As the grays and doldrum blues fade ever so slightly, I can't imagine simply walking out the door. Didn't Doc say to stay here? No matter how static it feels here, am I really going to follow Marruk of all Karain? Wait a minute. He has my damn lunch! Making sure that I actually am fully clothed, I slowly head towards the door. An unnatural warmth comes over me as the light of the hallway envelops my form in a mechanical embrace. Not sunlight, but enough. Tentatively, I stick my head out the door. No alarms or anything yet. Seems the hallway is empty. Took you long enough. Ugh! Turning, I see Marruk was waiting up against the wall just outside of sight. Bastard. Where are we going? Huh. He just rolls his eyes and walks away. I do feel that we should tell Doc that I'm heading out. But then he might not want us to leave. And since I'll be with Marruk, I don't think I'm breaking any rules. Not that they were even explained to me, really. And I can feign ignorance pretty damn hard if we do get caught. I'd say I'm quite the expert at playing dumb. Oh shit. Hold on, he's not waiting for me. I don't bother asking where we are going again, as we head down more blank hallways and empty corridors. I guess everyone is at lunch? Or working? I can't tell with this place. There are, of course, some Karain walking the halls, but they seem even less attentive than before. I catch a few rogue glances. But at this point, I'm still too out of it to care. As we walk further and further with no explanation, I start to get a bit worried. But the hasty nature of Marruk's march stops me from being able to bring anything up, as I am too busy keeping pace. We pass through a few smaller doors as well as some massive archways that go around the whole hallway. Are those airlocks? I guess it's possible. I never imagined that they'd be so big, though. Eventually, the hallways become even less occupied and even less well kept, paint scratched off in parts, rust accumulating on the fringes, and stains from the continued drip of pipes, the wear and tear finally showing through the veneer of all of their technological glory. It's a bit surprising to see, but somehow welcoming. These are things I know. They may not be friendly or well-wishing, but familiarity is in high demand, and I'll take what I can get. Although seeing rust on a spaceship can't be a great sign. Maybe I should tell Rowan to come check it out? Marruk's still a few paces ahead of me. Takes a sharp turn around a poorly lit corridor, and I stop hearing the sound of his footsteps. Turning the corner, I prepare for another surprise. But this was not the surprise that I was expecting. Marruk! What is this? He simply offers me a glance before setting down the tray and taking a seat, not humoring me with another answer. This is beautiful. Is it real? Real? Like, is that... I can't even finish my sentence as I press myself up against the cold glass like a child in a museum. I was not one for astronomy back home. The stars were fascinating but cold. They felt distant and uncaring. They were nothing that piqued my interest. I could always understand why some people liked them, though. They were untouchable gems on display for all to see. Something to strive for. To the stars and all that. But this? This gateway to the void, so casually tucked away in a forgotten hallway behind rusted doors and tarnished glass, has shown me what humanity has been longing for so long. Just an inky vastness, pinpointed with stellar flames. And it's humbling. These could be the same stars that I've seen before, but from a new perspective. Or not. They could be completely new and I'm just homesick. But I'd like to think that humans and Karain can both look up and see the same stars. I think I should ask Marrowyn about astronomy. After whipping some mysteriously accumulated water from under my eyes, I realize Marruk hasn't made himself comfy and is just taking in the view as well. I almost feel silly. I mean, there's nothing even to see. There are no planets, no view of Arius, no cool spaceships, no nothing. And yet I can't find myself looking away. We stay like this, unbothered and untethered from the rest of the station, for what feels like a mark. I eat my food, now cold, all the same. Not even footsteps interrupt our silence. It seems this part of the station is in disrepair and disuse. I find myself inches away from a cold death. And yet, this is the most comfortable I've felt all week. I was the one trapped behind inches of glass just days ago, but this feels different. I am not the one who is trapped. It is. We may be small, and most likely insignificant to it, but the void can not touch us here. We are the observers, and we have our place. Even now, as the station is surrounded by it, and we float through it, it is not throwing us to the cardinal winds. It is embracing us, holding us tight and letting us dance endlessly under its starlight vigil. And it does not know, and it will never know it, but it is at peace. And so am I, for at least but a moment. As I find myself drinking the dregs of my soup, I see Marruk on his monitor just relaxingly scrolling through some screens. I've yet to thank him for this, or talk to him at all since we got here, actually. At this point, I'm almost afraid to break the silence. He stretches and looks back to the window. Not longingly as I have, but with the same stoic expression that he always holds. I'll assume that he's just thinking. Starlight highlights his short fur, almost glistening around the edges of his form. I try not to stare, but I can't help it. I really do need to thank him. Hey, Marruk? Hmm? Thank you. Hmm. That's about right. We continue to sit as the minutes roll by. The food runs dry, and I get everything together back on the tray. Still, neither of us makes the move to leave. I trust Marruk to keep track of time, not like I could anyways. But I'd hate to imagine Doc coming back to an empty lab and panicking. Eventually, though, he does get up. And as so much without a word, he just nods his head in the right direction, and I follow. I'd caution one last glance outside, but it would just make it harder to leave. We see a few Karain on the way back, but none as bold to approach us or even do much of anything really. Probably for the best if Doc's hypothesis was right, expose myself to them. Wait, good thing Marruk told me to put on my clothes, or it might have been that kind of exposure. As we get to the door, Marruk swipes me in but makes no moves himself to follow. Not gonna wait for Doc? Nah, I have better things to do than wait for him all day. No, I've gotta get back to work. That thing come up? Well, thanks again for lunch. And, I won't tell Marrowyn if you don't. Oh, by the eye, Tucker, do not tell Marrowyn. I won't hear the end of it for months if you do. Okay, I won't. He nods and turns away without so much as another word, but it's okay. He has places to be, and so do I. Heading back inside, it's still cold. But at least I have my clothes on now. Seeing as there's nothing better to do and Doc still isn't back, I snoop around to see what I can see. The drawers are fully stocked, everything is pristine and wrapped in plastic, and everything is perfectly organized. It seems a bit excessive, but I don't suppose Doc got his title by being lazy. Checking out the monitor he was working on earlier reveals a series of screens that I still can't read and even more incomprehensible charts and images. I didn't expect much, but it's still fairly disappointing. Just another layer of separation and confusion between us. I sigh and resign myself to just sitting on my chair to wait. But not before messing up some things on his desk. For science, of course. I'm curious if he really does have a place for everything. I could ask him, of course, but this just feels more fun. Time crawls to a slog waiting for Marrowyn to come back from wherever he went. I even end up napping for a bit on the examination table. I hope he's okay. I mean, I'm sure he's fine, but I can't imagine anything that takes this long is really easy. Especially if it involves the chief. Probably something about the experiment or whatever he's got going on. I wonder if they're ever going to tell me about that anyways. I get that it's under wraps right now, but who could I tell? I guess anyone with a neural. Although, if an alien comes up to me and told me my boss was working on some crazy big science experiment right under my nose, I'm not sure that I'd believe them. Man, I would kill for something to make sense these days. I way overestimated how fast things would be normal here. Even after everyone told me that it wouldn't be easy, I just ignored them. Still, I'll figure it out. I have to. Okay, I've had enough. Picking up a random book on the shelf, I start to flip through to see if I can find anything interesting. I think I picked one about... Well, I think it's about general medical practices, but there's a lot more graphs and charts than images. And the few images there depict tools more than anything. The next book proves equally boring, as it just seems to be a dictionary? Or maybe a glossary of medical terms? Either way, no pictures. I can't even reach the rest of the books unless I were to pull the stool over to stand on. Which, while tempting, I'd hate for Marrow to find out I hurt myself trying something stupid. I can think of many embarrassing ways to die here, but that's definitely up there. Resigned to the 2 books I have now, I try my best to find any similar words or phrases. I might have figured out the Korean word for forceps. I'll be sure to bring it up in casual conversation. Oh my, Doc, you have such nice forceps. I'm sure they're made with the strongest of iron steel. Yeah, let's try to find something better. After trying to match a few words with what limited images I have, I think I figured out a few more words. Nothing useful in day-to-day life, or even useful at all since I don't know what the words sound like, just how to read them. Well, what is reading besides pattern recognition? Putting the books down, I walk back to the monitor to try and check the time. Although halfway there, I realize that they still haven't told me how to read the time here. So I'm not sure what I could figure out myself. But at this point, I'm sure my appointment with Doc has been delayed for sure. It's fine, we have time. All the time in the world, I guess. Worlds? I hope time works differently here. Not in the sense that the days are longer, but maybe slower. Like, maybe I can go home and only have been missing for a day or 2. Maybe my family won't have to worry about me. I mean, I am safe after all. I shouldn't be thinking about this right now. It's not good for me. Creeping up to the door, I don't hear any footsteps, so I step closer and... to my surprise, it opens. Taking a look around, the hallways are empty again. Just flickering lights and dull white paint. I don't think I should step outside. I'm unsure if I can get back in or not without a keycard. And I really don't think Doc would be happy to see me just stuck in the hallway. But he better leave me with some form of entertainment next time if he is going to take this long. I mean, I know I was just in my cell for like a week, but this still sucks. Surely they understand that I need some kind of enrichment. Maybe I should make it more obvious. If they could even give me my phone back, I'd be happy. I shouldn't get mad at him. It's not his fault. I'm not mad at anyone really, just the situation, I guess. All I want is some help. From outside the door, I hear some hurried thumps as someone approaches. Finally, I resume the exact seat that I had before he left and just wait for him to come to me. No reason to get an automatic door for someone. By the heart, I am so sorry that it took so long. It was just one thing after another, and before I knew it... Doc, it's okay. Is everything alright with the professor? Huh? Oh, yes. Just he needed some help with some things and... It's a lot. Sorry, I was gone for so long though. Did Marruk stay with you? No. No? I mean, he was here for lunch. But he had things to do as well. Have you just been here by yourself then? Oh, Tucker, I'm so sorry. You don't have to apologize, Marrowyn. It's not your fault. Well, no, but... I'll try to see to it that doesn't happen again. Perhaps next time I'll see if you can come with me. Come with you? Yes, I really didn't go that far, just a few floors down. And I don't see why not. You can stay safe in Professor Sando's office just as well as mine. That might be interesting. If anything, I can use it as an excuse to see more of this place. If he doesn't mind, it will be fine. He's got room. Besides, I think you'd like it. I'm not sure what that means, but it's exciting to hear that I might be able to see some cool places sooner. A big goofy grin appears on his muzzle and he finally settles into the room. He quickly checks his monitor and reviews what little data we had gotten earlier. He also either doesn't notice that I moved some things around or simply doesn't care. I'll assume the former for now. I'm still sorry for my absence, though, Tucker. I should be free to share dinner with you, though. If you would like that. Yeah, sure thing, Marrowyn. You sure that you'll be free, though? Yes, I promise. My schedule isn't normally so, hectic. I feel I may be to blame for some of that, although it seems that Tyr has him running ragged as well. Right, back to it, I suppose. Now, where were we? Hey, Marrow, if you don't mind, could we just talk for a bit before continuing? Talk? Yeah. Listen, I know everything we are doing here is really important, and it's all for my benefit as well. But I'm still having a hard time dealing with everything. I was curious if we could maybe go a bit slower? It takes a few seconds for the Nero to translate my sentence as Marrow's expression remains unchanging. Either that or Doc is having a hard time understanding what I just said regardless. Eventually, though, his expression tells me enough. Oh, of course, Tucker. We can go as slow as we need to. Let me just... He pulls down some documents and pulls out another stool to sit next to me, while still keeping a decent distance between us. Is he afraid to sit next to me now? He was so confident on that little bench in the cell. Maybe it's easier when I'm just some helpless thing that can't communicate. Or maybe I'm just overanalyzing his seating choices. Tucker? Right. Sorry, I think I just... I didn't believe everyone when they said that things would still be hard when I got out of that cell. It's barely even been a day and I still feel trapped. I mean, I can't even leave a room without assistance. So what's the difference? Even being left alone just now, I was scared of something happening. He remains silent, either allowing me to continue or unable to offer any guidance. And it's not your fault. Nor is it Marruk's or Rowan's or anyone's. But I still don't know what to do. I don't want to just sit in my room all day. I want to be able to help you here. I want to be able to try and live a... It's just... It's okay, Tucker. Please don't cry. Please don't... Fuck. I didn't even notice. He reaches out a paw for me, but the distance gets to us both, as he can only reach my knee. I'm okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. I think it will just take some time. More silence. But this time I see ideas forming behind his eyes. Tucker, if you need time, I will make sure that you can have it. I figured that there would be challenges for you in the future. No matter how much I could be here for you. I had just hoped that they would not be so soon. I think time will help, but please, if you need something, just ask, as you did now. I did not expect the medical tests to take that much of a toll on you. Nor did I expect you to still feel so trapped and alone. But I do now. He doesn't understand. Has he ever truly understood what I've said? Marrowyn, I don't need you to stop the medical tests. I don't need you to not do your job. I think I just need a moment. I don't think he understands. I was right. But then again, I'm not sure that even I know what I'm asking for, what I need. We sit in relative silence as my panting, which I haven't even noticed I was doing, slowly returns to a somewhat softened breath. Still, silence persists. I might have worried Doc, but I think he is waiting for me to explain what I need. What he can do for me, if he can do anything that is. Closing my eyes and focusing on my breath, I steady myself against his desk. A subtle blue light from the ambience of the room even now shines through the shut lids. He must think that I've lost it, that the second I left the cell I fell apart. Maybe he's right, but I cannot tell why. I think I put so much emphasis on getting out that I lost myself in the reality of the day-to-day. I am not free yet, but all of this might just help me get there. I open my eyes to see Doc is sitting as still as always, but not with the expression I had thought that he'd have. He does not appear to be worried, but is smiling. I'm sorry, Marrowyn. I underestimated what life would be like now. Almost nothing has happened, and yet it got to me. He scooshes his stool a bit closer and leans in on the desk. Understand that this may not be something that I can fix for you. Not right away, at least. But please, I can always listen. I think that when I stepped out of that cell, even though I knew nothing would change, I was hoping that everything would change. That in a day or two, I would be fine and life would be normal. Even though I have no idea what normal is anymore. It's fine that it isn't. I think I'm starting to realize that. But it took me a moment to internalize it. I think I just need time. And for some reason, I did not think that I would. Doc is still giving me a wavering smile, but I do feel as though I have worried him. His eyes dart all over me, inspecting every inch, perhaps seeing what I cannot. Eventually, however... Of course, Tucker. I do worry about you. I'm sorry. But I also understand that you are capable of taking care of yourself. All I can do is be here for you, if you are willing to talk. He smiles, and we both look away as I realize that we were never in silence at all. A warm thrumming from all the machines in the room persists. Still, we sit. Almost a minute passes before Doc gets up. I watch as he goes back to what I now assume is his main monitor and quickly checks on a few things. Tucker? Yes, Doc? Would you like to go back to your room for the day? Perhaps just rest? There was not much more work that could be done today anyways. No, Marrowyn, it's okay. I'd prefer not to be alone right now. May I ask what is left? Right, of course. Let me see. He continues scrolling before turning back to me. A non-invasive scan, much less intensive than the last. Then, no, we don't have time for that. Let's see. Perhaps I could take a few more samples for testing? Not blood, mind you. Saliva would work just as well. Perhaps if there is time after, I can try to find something else to teach you? Although, I didn't have time to prepare anything formal, mind you. But it can wait if you're too tired. Huh? What do you mean by that? Well, I wasn't sure if you would want to sit here and listen to me just talk after today, or if you would rather rest. I could probably explain some more about the station to you, if you were curious. If I was curious? Of course I'm curious, but I can understand how that might be a bit much considering how Doc found me. That being said, I'm more than happy to learn more about this place. I know next to nothing about it right now. I think it would be great to learn more about the station. I know you're worried about me, but this is exactly what I was talking about. I want to learn about this place. It's the only way that it will become normal for me. Finally, a genuine smile returns to his face. I still don't think he wholly understands what is wrong, but I know he cares. Even if his worries can be misplaced. I'm glad, Tucker. And I will try to find more ways to make all of this easier, I promise. Doc, I know. I trust you. Thank you, Tucker. Now, if you don't mind stepping over here... Oh, right. You walk over to an unassuming looking machine with a few rings on it. Here we go. Just put your arm in here, and I can begin to scan it. Was the scan earlier not enough? Hmm? Oh. No, sorry, Tucker. That was less accurate and more broad. I did get to see what your bones look like, though. I can't wait to take some time and inspect them more. Go for it, Doc. Let me know if you can find anything interesting. Oh, I will. You know, Doc is a giant dog, more or less. I wonder if he has that same proclivity to bones as dogs back home. Probably not. Hey Doc, this, scan here? Yes, what of it? It's not gonna hurt, is it? Her? Tucker, did that last scan hurt you? By the heart. You should have said something. No. I was uncomfortable, but it didn't hurt. I was just nervous. Every other time that I've given you my arm, well, you take blood from it, and that does hurt, if just a bit. Well, I am sorry for that, Tucker. I have tried to make it as painless as possible, I promise. But no. This machine shouldn't cause you any pain. Ah, thanks. And don't worry, I know you don't mean to cause me any pain. I don't think I phrased that right. Oh well. Putting my arm into the machine, Doc walks over to a small monitor and the rings begin to spin around. A gentle light runs up and down my arm as Doc asks me kindly to rotate it this way and that so that he can get the best scans. It's not a very intensive process overall. Much more enjoyable than the last scan, that's for sure. After a few rotations, and after Doc realizes that he was asking me to twist my arm in an impossible direction, he announces that's enough for now, and I reclaim my arm. Well, how was that? Better? Much. Thank you, Doc. Well then, how about just one more test for today, Tucker? Would you mind if I took some samples from you? Just saliva, right? Like you said? Technically, it could be anything. But that is the least invasive method, yes. Then yeah, if you don't mind. I don't want to try more than that today. Of course. You can just stay right there if you want. Let me just gather what I need. Taking his time, he walks around to a few different drawers and gathers what he needs. For how organized this place seems to be, he does stop and scratch his head a few times. I guess even he can forget where he put something. It doesn't take long, however, as he only really needed a few things. This won't take long, I promise. Now, let me explain the procedure. Since I am only collecting saliva, I have this tool here. He holds up what must be a cotton swab of some kind. Or whatever the Karain equivalent is. And I will gently swab around your mouth a few times to get some samples. Your mouth will feel dry, but there shouldn't be any discomfort otherwise. Is that okay? This Karain. He really does take everything I say into consideration, huh? He's even worried about hurting me with a cotton swab. I won't bring it up. But if he can read my heart, I hope that he can tell it's appreciated. Okay, Doc. So, should I just hold my mouth open? Like this? Ah, perfect, Tucker. Let me just... He quickly unwraps one of the swabs and dabs it around my gums and under my tongue. Once completed, he stores it in some kind of container with another liquid present. After 2 more swabs, he seems to have run out, and I close my mouth. He was right about one thing. I think I'm going to need some water after that. That should be enough for now. We still have some time until Marruk arrives. Let me see if I can manage a small presentation for you. Oh, right. I'm curious to see what he's able to throw together for me. Yes, I'd love to. But, could you maybe grab me a glass of water first? Oh, of course, Tucker. I did warn you. Returning to my seat, I find that the projection monitor is already set up this time, as it seems Doc has a better grip on how to run all the systems by himself now. That doesn't mean it's a flawless process, however, as it takes him some time to find the right files and pull them up, but when he does, lo and behold, it does work. Well, now that that's done, let me see what I can find for you today. You wanted to tell me about the station, yeah? The The Ikaroid 2? Right, that one. Heh, yes, indeed. Let me see what would be interesting. I don't believe technical readouts would be very interesting. Probably not worth talking about power consumption. I guess its history will have to be enough. Perhaps I can find some projects to talk about as well. Is he actually going to finally give me some answers about everything? At least about the station. Marruk is going to have a conniption. Actually, speaking of... hey Da? Marrowyn? I'm totally happy that you want to tell me all of this. But is Marruk going to be okay with it? Officer Marruk has no say what you are and aren't allowed to learn. And honestly, he needs to get over this little spat about all of that. We can't have you getting lost or worse while here, and knowing more about the station would help. I swear, sometimes that Karain just... I can't imagine not knowing anything about your new... I can't imagine not knowing anything about the station is making your situation easier. Anyways, most of what I will show you today is superficial. It's mostly about the history of the station rather than anything crucial to its functions. I can find some maps for you when you are allowed to move around the station more freely. Anyways, I believe this is more than enough information for one day. Ahem. Well, as you know, the Ikaroid 2 is quite massive, as it can sustain upwards to 500 crew members easily. But in fact, the station itself is much larger. We only occupy about a third of the station, while the rest is for essential systems and machinery. It even has its own orbiting substations to help take care of external issues. External issues? If any debris or other external materials, such as asteroids, were to be on a course with the station, they take care of that, along with fixing any smaller issues on the outside of the station in a spacewalk. In fact, I believe Dr. Terrain is trained to do that kind of maintenance. Really? That sounds kinda great. I can't imagine what it's like to just float out in space. Maybe bring some music and just relax? Rowan also seems to downplay his job. I wonder how much he really does around here. I'm also curious about how much of this place he's seen, since Doc said that it's so much bigger than I had imagined. The station itself is divided up into various floors and subfloors, each with their own purpose. Most Karain get around using the elevator systems at the center of the station. But, as you can imagine, those get quite crowded. There are, of course, stairs, but... well, if you need to get from floor 3 to floor 10, not everyone is committed enough to walk. Yeah? How committed are you, Doc? Heh. Be careful, Tugger. I could arrange for you to have a room on the first floor. And last time I checked, you aren't allowed to take the elevators yet. I don't think he meant to remind me of my limited mobility right now. And I think he realized that. But for both our sakes, he moves on. Well, yes. Anyways, there are a few ships that tend to us regularly. But most of our provisions are either made on board or are rationed correctly, to not cause any shortages. Which is another reason that it's been so hard to find you any new clothing, I'm afraid. It might have to be custom made, as we only get new shipments of supplies every few months. That being said, I'm asking everyone I can to try and find you something sooner. Heh. Thanks, Doc. I did have a question if I may. He nods. I was curious. Why aren't we so far out? I mean, why aren't we orbiting Io or any of the other closer planets? Ah, good question, Tucker. It's a variety of reasons, some that even I can't explain. Why not? I'm a bit too tired for Doc's soft lies today. If he can't tell me something, he better have a damn good reason for it. Well, because I am not a politician. Wait, what? It was decided that it would be best if no planet could have a direct claim over the station, I believe. It's not that the station itself generates vast amount of income or something like that. In fact, I'm fairly sure that it's the opposite. But yes, it's partially a legal reason. Mind you, it's not the only reason. It's also far easier to launch deep space probes, study Novell itself, and apparently catch aliens out here. Huh. Well, I know he's right about one of those things. I feel bad that I thought poorly of him now. Still, I have to make sure that he doesn't try to skip over things anymore. Alright, thanks. Please continue. Of course. Well, as you know now, another important part of the station is sending out deep space probes. In fact, the station is used for most Karain space exploration nowadays. If a ship is going to another planet for any number of reasons, there is a good chance that it will stop here at some point. Let me see. What else is there? Well... Yeah, Doc? Oh, it's just... another technical document. Nothing interesting, I'm afraid. Why is he doing this? Making it so hard for me to trust him sometimes. What could he possibly be hiding that I would be better off not knowing? Well, okay. I had another question though, if you don't mind. Another nod. This is the Ikaroid 2, yeah? Correct? Was there an Ikaroid 1? Wait, what? That was it? Did I manage to guess what he was hiding? Or is this some other fun fact that he decided to omit? Doc? Please. Of course. That was a worrying pause. How bad could it have been? Maybe he's just thinking that it would be too much? Either way, no more secrets. Not if I can help it. Well, yes, you are correct. There was an Ikaroid 1, and it was indeed the predecessor of the station. However, it wasn't built in the best of times. What? What does that mean, Doc? Well, the Ikaroid 1 was a marvel of engineering still to this day. It was almost as big as the station, and from what I've heard, even grander in design. It orbited Idleo in all of its glory and could be seen from the surface at night. It was truly something to behold. But this was before artificial gravity was perfected, and well, one night it decided to rain. Doc? I'm sorry, Tucker. This might be too much for today. No. Tell me what happened. It happened before I was born. But I know it all too well. Everyone does. At first, people thought that it was a meteor shower. And then, a rare solar flare of some kind. But no, Ikaroid 1 had fallen into a decaying orbit. It had passed the red line. Something had happened with the engines or the early anti-gravity tech, but nothing was working. The emergency thrusters burned up on firing. Communications were broken at best. And all the people could see was... rain. Sleek, fiery rain. Doc's eyes glaze over a bit as he finishes the sentence. His gaze becomes unfocused as he stares away towards some unseen light. I think that he might not have been protecting me from knowing about this, but rather, maybe he didn't want to remember. That's why we aren't orbiting Io, isn't it? It's why we aren't orbiting Io. I knew it. It takes him a minute to slowly regain his composure. His focus returns and he turns to me. He must have some untold sense, some guiding force behind his actions because, as he turns, he smiles. A genuine and deep smile, as if he just remembered that there is joy in the world. I'm sorry, Tucker. I thought that might be a bit much for today. It does have a happy ending, though. It does? Yes. After that, Io and Urian came together to create this station. And using what they learned from the last time, they made it better. Much better, trust me. Although, I wouldn't have minded if they made it a bit prettier at times. It is a bit gray, isn't it? It's great if you like repetitive hallways, yes. But yes, let me... Beep, beep, beep. We both jump as Doc pulls out his monitor and starts reading something on the small screen. I thought that he had the thing on silent. Ah, excuse me, Tucker. You will be happy to know that Marruk is on his way with dinner. It seems like this might be a good stopping point for the night. Again? That's nice of him. I thought he was only bringing us lunch. Yeah. I think that was enough for today. Fortunately for my stomach. As it turns out, on the way for Marruk means already arriving, as not but a few minutes later, there are some aggressive knocks on the door. Ah, Marruk, thank goodness. I had almost thought that he had gotten lost. Oh, Doc, don't be silly. I could find your lab from miles away. I just followed the trails of blood or the screaming. Ha! But Marruk, please, maybe not in front of Tucker. You started it. It's calming in a way to see those two joke around so casually. I mean, I think that's what it is. I'm still curious about how it came to be, though. I, for one, thought Marruk was incapable of friendship. Tucker. Maybe that's not giving him enough credit. Besides our rough start, he has been a lot nicer to me now. Tucker! It'd be great if he could be nicer to Rowan, though. Especially since we're going to be around each other so often now. Speaking of, I wonder... Tucker! What? Sorry, I was... Yeah, I get it. You're not the only one. Just take your food so that I can put this damn tray down. Oh, right, sure. Thanks for dinner. So, Doc, anything to report? Report? I don't know. You learned anything interesting about Tucker here today? He's secretly a monster or something? Acid blood? Marruk, if he had acid blood, your jacket would have been ruined. Wait, did I get blood on your jacket? Yeah, just a bit. It was right. Wait, that's not fucking important. Damn it, Doc. Hehehe. But to answer your question, Marruk, or rather, the one I think you were asking, no. Tucker is no more dangerous than a normal Karain. Maybe even less so. What is he... Marruk was asking if I needed to be detained. Again. Or something along those lines. I don't know, Doc. You haven't finished your tests, right? Maybe I do have acid blood, and I just don't want to show you. Oh, that's true, Tucker. Or maybe you've already taken over my mind and replaced me. Alright, both of you can fuck off. Geez, guy learns Karain, and the first thing that he understands is how to get on my nerves. You make it too easy. Yeah, whatever. Just shut up and enjoy your dinner. Thanks again for the dinner. Hmm. But really, Doc, anything? And I don't mean like anything scary, just like in general. Again with these questions, Marruk? Really? No, nothing particularly noteworthy. Maybe the most noteworthy thing is how similar they are in some aspects. Similar? Well, yes. Tucker appears to be quite similar in design to us. Similar skeletal patterns. Even their blood has at least fairly similar hemoglobin proteins. From my current scans, it seems as though they have roughly the same number of organs as us, most of which I can only assume serve the same functions. Even their vascular system seems to roughly follow the same outline as ours. My current hypothesis on it all is that all bipedal carbon-based life forms might just have these similarities. Was that not the explanation that you were looking for? Nah. I mean, that's fine and all, but acid blood would have been cooler. Right. Well, I for one am glad Tucker doesn't have acid blood. Hmm. Well, Marruk, what about yourself? Huh? You worked today, no? How was your first day back on patrol? Oh. More like the first day back getting hounded by annoying questions. Oh boy. That's about right. Tia wouldn't fucking stop asking about it, and I had to take lunch early just to get them off of my tail. What tail? Tch. Anyways, I don't know, Doc. This is all turning out to be a hell of a lot of work. I mean, I was on patrol and people actually approached me to ask me about my day and shit. Me of all Karain. I mean, I knew what they really wanted, but still, it felt weird. I can imagine, Marruk. Were you able to shake them, or... Not really. As much as I'd like to sometimes. I'm not about to push someone to the ground for asking me too many questions. I just told them some little scraps about it and went about my day. Usually kept them off me. Scraps? Yeah, like, I don't know, that you wear clothes and can write. Look, these people are really dying to learn anything. I could have told them that you know how to walk on your own and they probably would have lost it. Seems like you got a better crowd than I did. What? Oh, nothing. Right. Well, people will be curious. It's just how they are. And unfortunately, Tucker, they do have good reason. I myself would probably be one of them if I were not allowed to meet you myself. Yeah, I guess that does make sense. I guess nothing can be done about it now. Not yet, Tucker, no. But as soon as we can. Right. With that, I go back to chewing on some salad as Marruk checks his monitor while Doc just watches us. It's nothing new at this point. The silent discomfort that comes with ending a conversation. It's happened many times before, and yet, I thought it might happen less now that there were no walls between us. Maybe it's as Doc said though, soon for whatever that's worth. He's right though. I know he is. Until then, I think that I have to make something work for me, to try and not let the conversations run dry. To try and not let another wordless meal pass as this one already has. Fortunately, at least tonight, I can put away my plates and feel ever so slightly less like a burden. Doc says not to worry about them beyond stacking them. He can have someone come and get them. I'd protest, but I don't know what to do with them myself. As Marruk heads out to survey the hall, Marrowyn cleans up some of the last scraps and rearranges his desk for tomorrow. Everything in its place. I was right. As we step into the hallways, I notice the lights have dimmed and the halls are empty. It makes me wonder if this whole area is more akin to an office than anything. So when the shift stops, everyone just heads home. It would make sense, but then why are our rooms so close? Is the privilege of having your own room weighed against living only a few minutes away from where you work? It doesn't matter. But as we walk into silence, my mind does wander. Marruk tells Doc a bit more about some of the people he bumped into today. He actually called one of them his friends, which was shocking. Doc gets a bit more in-depth when Marruk asks about some of the tests. A bit too in-depth if Marruk's confused grimace is anything to go by. They carry on a few conversations, but eventually both just end up walking at an offbeat pace, each trying to catch up to the other, while not leaving me behind. I don't think that they've realized that I can't walk as fast as them. But as we continue forward, I find myself ignoring them more and more and just zoning out. The repetitive nature of the halls bending everything into a gray pattern as we head forwards. Not as bad as before, at least. I pick up a few details that Doc whispers in hushed tones, but nothing more. I do, however, notice as we pass the library door, signaling that we have almost arrived. Once we get to the executive hallway, Marruk very quickly veers off to his own room before bidding us goodnight, leaving Doc and I just waiting in front of Rowan's door. Doc says that he should be back about now from his work. That being said, this is Rowan we're talking about. From everything that I've seen so far, he's not the best at arriving on time. A few minutes go by until a very disheveled maintenance director comes careening down the hallway, basically out of breath. Doc and I both just kind of stare as he fumbles with his keycards and eventually manages to get into the executive hallway. Panting and muttering to himself, he approaches us. So, when you said I'll drop off Tucker around the 26th mark, you actually meant exactly at the 26th mark? Well, I thought it was a reasonable time. Did you not get the schedule I sent? Or also when I explained it to you yesterday? I skimmed it. Right. Well, we didn't have to wait too long, so no worries. Good night, Director. Good night, Tucker. Rowan looks like he wants to correct him, but he's too busy catching his breath. While I'd like to get inside the warm room, I don't push him. He seems exhausted. I guess he only just got off of work, and now has to deal with me. Well, deal with might be a bit much. All I want to do right now is go to bed. After another short few minutes, he collects himself and locks eyes with me. Hey there, Tucker. You have a good day? Sorry I couldn't drop by and say hi. Oh, it was fine, Rowan. Just ran some tests with Doc. Nothing much, really. Yeah. That's good. I'm glad you could have a more relaxing day. He doesn't need to know about everything that happened. Maybe later. He props himself up against the wall, maybe to look cool. I think just for support. Still, just staring at me though. Ahem. Rowan? Yeah? Don't you wanna open the door for us? Open the what? Oh, right, let me just... Fumbling again, he pulls out a few keycards until he finds the right one. Maybe the wrong one? But eventually he swipes the right card and gets us into the room. He excuses himself and runs to the bathroom. I can hear the shower turn on as I take a seat on my bed. Well, his bed. I mean, I'm glad that he's not just sleeping in the walls again. But it does seem like he might have had a bit much going on today. So much so that he forgot about getting here. I'll see if I can ask him. Or at least see if there's anything that I can do to help. As the blow dryer revs up, I know my time is short. Deciding to get up, I wait near the door. A slightly damp muzzle pokes out of the bathroom, followed by a slightly damp head. A shocked expression crosses his face and I decide to cover my eyes. I hear him scramble across the floor and start messing with some drawers behind me. Taking that as a good enough cue, I slip into the still warm bathroom and clean up myself. It doesn't take long for me to get all cleaned up for the night. Although, I do spend some extra time just standing under the shower head. After a prolonged rinsing, I step out, almost fully clothed, and try to peek at where Rowan is, to not scare him. Noticing that he's already under the covers, I take that as a sign and slip under my own. Are you okay, Rowan? Okay? Yeah, you seemed, well, a bit out of it. Oh, no. Thank you though, Tucker. Just, there's a lot more on my list of things to fix than I had thought. A lot more. Are you going to be able to handle it? What? Um, I'm sure it'll be fine, Rowan. Oh, thanks. Do you mind if we turn off the lights now? Yeah. Yeah, no problem, bud. I don't see him smile, but I swear that I hear a rogue tail thump against his bed as the sheets move a bit. Hitting the lights drains the room of almost every color but blue, as his arm once again projects his own nightlight. Rolling over, I can hide most of it from view, enough to find comfort in the darkness at least. And then there are no colors anymore. Day 9. And that's where I'm going to leave it for today. So that didn't seem like it took forever. Ok, honestly, the previous updates felt super long. This update, well, not update, the previous day, day 7. Day 8 felt shorter, I guess, because I don't know, I guess there was a lot more going on. And it was actually nice of Marruk to take you to the window to, see the stars and basically not feel so cooped up. And it's kind of obvious that Marruk does, I guess, to some extent know what's going on with Tucker. He can understand it. He can sympathize with him. He just won't vocalize it. But that's probably just because that's how he is, Like, Marrowyn is the touchy-feely guy, and Marruk is sort of like like, ugh, you're feeling stuff, but I guess I'll help. And Rowan is sort of the oblivious one. Which admittedly would be me. Like, I guess I would be a combination of Marruk and Rowan, in where I can get lost in my own head most of the time. And sometimes people will be talking to me and I'll just sort of drift off into my own world and then suddenly snap back when I realize, oh, somebody was talking to me. Or oftentimes I'll be the one that's just sitting and looking and realizing that something is wrong with the person even though they're not saying it or even though other people are not saying it. And apparently that can be a little annoying. But yeah. Uh, Although that does sound a bit more like Marrowyn, but whatever. Uh, I kind of get the feeling that although Marrowyn does know that there is something wrong with Tucker, meaning, he's not feeling at his best right now, that he doesn't know exactly what is wrong and he is just assuming that it's one thing or another. He's sort of just best guessing. And I suppose that's good and that's bad at the same time, because, something is wrong, and without, trying to find out exactly what it is, you kind of just say that, oh yeah, okay, fine, sure, we'll work on something. But then it's like, oh no, he missed the mark. And Marruk seems to be a bit more able to grasp at things, but I think it's because he's more direct, and rather than him just sitting there and sort of going like, oh yeah, there's something wrong with you, it's like, no, 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 you tell me what is wrong so that I can try to help you. And even though Marrowyn and Tucker had a conversation about what is wrong, it kind of seemed like he still didn't get it. But it was nice that it was addressed, that the fact that Marrowyn does kind of treat Tucker like a patient, or like a specimen. And Marruk, at the very least, from what we're seeing right now, is the only one that sees Tucker as a person that is going through something. And it's something that is a stark contrast between those two guys. It is something um, that is also technically different from how Rowan sees you, like towards the beginning of the the visual novel, where he sees you or acts like you're just another crewmate, like just like another friend or somebody to work with or something like that. Whereas Marruk sees you almost like a person now, and but again, Marrowyn still gives the vibes that although he wants to help, he wants to do what is best by you, he can't move past the whole doctor-patient relationship, which might be a thing for his own personal route specific stuff, where he has to see you more as a person rather than a patient. But yeah. Anywho, so if you haven't guessed by now, or if you didn't listen to me when I said it before, or even joined the stream that I did a couple of days ago, well, like 2 weeks ago, I think, by the time you guys watch this, um, Rowan, Marrowyn, and Marruk all share this in common. Like, what you're watching right here is all the same, with the exception of whose room you're in and who you're interacting with at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day. And because it is a lot to read, I am still on the fence of just, reading the other portions that are character specific and then just copy and pasting what I am reading for Rowan so that there is content for all three of them. Because ultimately, you're gonna get it. It's gonna be the same. Like only what, like 5% of it is gonna be character specific and the rest of it is gonna be shared. So, like, part of me feels like, well, if you just want to see how Marrowyn is when you're in his room and like at the end of the day, or Marruk, then you could just read it yourself. But if you really, really want to, I could, but like, ugh. Like, it's not gonna take that long for me to just read the differences and just copy and paste it, especially if by the time that I do that, although this is already edited, so the only part that I have to edit is just the beginning and the end of each episode. There might be some little differences in between, especially if you're rooming with Marruk. I mean, obviously he has to say something different when he's visiting during lunch and dinner, right? Or Marrowyn. I kind of feel like Marrowyn would have the most deviations, which would make it kind of a slog too, that I have to like find the deviations. I don't know. I'll still try and see it. So, if by the time that you watch this, there isn't any difference, or there isn't any indication that I decided to do like route specific for all three of them, then I am sorry, but you're gonna have to read it on your own. I am only focusing on Rowan because he's the one that I ultimately like. I know Marruk and Rowan are like competing for first place, but ultimately it's Rowan for me. It's Rowan, Marruk right behind him, like breathing down his neck, and then Marrowyn down in the bottom. Not that I don't like Marrowyn, but there is something about Rowan that I like. Like his little vacant stare right there. Like, even though they all technically have like little vacant stares where you can't see the pupil, he just looks like head empty, no thoughts. I just like Rowan, but Marruk is like right there. Like, it was literally a toss-up. So like, who do I read first? Do I read Rowan or do I read Marruk before I found out that all routes share the same content? So you might have been watching a Marruk flavored playthrough, but no, you're watching a Rowan flavored playthrough. Anyways, but yeah, so thank you all for watching / listening. If you would like to play Roads Yet Traveled and see what, differences there are for Rowan, I mean, not for Rowan, for Marruk and Marrowyn, you can find it over on itch, and you can find a direct link to it from the creator's Twitter page, which I will link down in the description. And you can also find the link to the Patreon, as well as their coffee, down in the description, in case you want to subscribe to the Patreon and get early access to, stuff about Roads Yet Travel, behind the scenes stuff that they might do, or if you want to support them with a one-time donation for coffee. And as of right now, I also do have a coffee, so if you want to, donate to me, that would be greatly appreciated. And as of today, there are like 3 people who donated, and I thank you very, 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 very much. Um, it's very helpful and is very, very, very appreciated. Like, seriously, guys, you have no idea how much it means to me. I mean, you don't have to. I'm not saying that you have to, but still, like, for the 3 people that did, thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it. But yeah, so I guess that's it for now, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.